Hi everybody, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So in this video, we're going to discuss the Madeline Soto case. Now for those who are unfamiliar, Madeline Soto was a 13-year-old girl in Kissimmee, Florida. She turned 13 on February 22nd, 2024. She celebrated her birthday at a birthday party on Sunday, February 25th, 2024. And the next day, Monday, February 26th, after school, she was reported missing. Now, I'm making this as short as possible because I think most of you are familiar with the story. A couple days after she was reported missing, Mom, Jen Soto, her boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, was arrested for images found on his phone of CP involving Madeline. The police were able to determine it was Madeline based on items laying around in the photos versus items they found in the household, so they were able to make the connection. And then they also determined that not only was the person being essayed in the photos Madeline, but the person doing the essaying was Stephen Stearns. And a couple days after that, he became also the prime suspect in Madeline's disappearance. And then a few days later, Madeline's body was found in a wooded area in St. Cloud, Florida, which is near Kissimmee. And took a while for him to be charged with her unalivened, but he eventually was. But before that, he was charged with 60 more counts of child abuse related, I shouldn't have said that word, YouTube's gonna ding me, related charges. So the SA charges, that trial is going to take place before the unalivened trial. And I do plan on attending both. I have to keep an eye on the schedules and stuff because they do continuously change. And sometimes they change at last minute. So we'll just have to see. Because thank God I don't have little kids. I can pretty much get up and go if I need to. And because that case is it's a priority to me. But I just, recently the state attorney's office came out with almost 900 pages of documents regarding the case. And I wanted to go over a few things and just give my opinions and thoughts. So, okay. So, first thing I want to do is insert this clip. It's a little bit of a long clip from Stephen Stearns' police interview he did, and I believe this was the night after Madeline was reported missing.
I know that you already spoke to the other detective, right, about everything that kind of happened today. If you can just kind of go over it with us one more time, the timeline from like when you guys woke up and took her to school and all that.
So we woke up early. The plan was that we were going to get McDonald's breakfast on the way, so we made amazingly good time getting
I don't mean
out
to
the door.
interrupt you, okay? Neither of us were here yesterday, so if you can be kind of like specific about like times and stuff like that, okay?
Woke up around 7:15, somewhere around there, which is an early start for us, but we had talked about getting McDonald's breakfast beforehand, so we wanted to make good time. We did make good time. We got out the door maybe 7:30ish, 7:45ish maybe. Got over to that area. She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there. We got to McDonald's, or close to McDonald's. I said, "Do you still want it?" Wasn't interested in the McDonald's anymore, so we continued on. And she wanted to be dropped off a little down the ways from the school. She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out of in front of the school. She prefers her mom's car, but my cars are, I guess, kind of hoopties. I get it. It's an image thing. But that was sometime probably between 8:20 and 8:40-ish, somewhere in there. It was along the stretch of the road that on the right side that has all the communities on it. Before you get to the overpass. You could see the overpass from where it was. So it was on that side, on that stretch of road, and that's where I dropped her off. And she said she was going to go wait for her friends. She was going to go find them and hang out and wait for her friends. And I asked if that was going to be okay. She said, yeah, it's fine. Kids get dropped off early enough as it is. It's not totally unusual for that to happen. It's just not usually that early that I drop her off. I do school runs every once in a while for her. I said, okay. Let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too. And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where she was supposed to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack or something. What I assumed was probably headphones or something like that, but I find out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her phone. But she was still kind of making her way towards that direction, so it looked okay. It looked like any other day. And I just continued on.
After you dropped her off, what did you do?
Stayed, talked to her for a minute. I made sure, is it all right that you're going early? Because it was still early. And she said, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to hang out and wait for my friends to get there, which she does sometimes, so it didn't sound, outrageous or anything. And that was it. Told her to have a good day. I loved her. She told me she loved me too. I turned around to leave, and I was watching her in my rearview mirror, and she looked like she was walking in the right direction. She was rummaging in her bag a little bit, like I said, but still sort of just shambling in the right direction while she was doing it. So it looked normal. It looked okay.
Okay, and then what did you do after you left the area?
I left to go to the local vape shop because I needed some more vape juice. They weren't quite open yet, so I ended up going back home. Waited about an hour or so and then went back and checked the vape shop again. It was open, so I got what I needed there and came back.
Do you remember what time you came home?
The first time was probably right around 10, close to it. And then I waited here and went back to the vape shop. Probably finished at the vape shop and came back home again a little after 11.
And then what'd you do after that?
I had a couple errands to run over on 192. She was talking about making a BJ shopping list. She just wanted to make sure I was back in time for us to both go pick up. So I was visiting some card shops around the area on 192. I'm kind of a nerd, so we had a new trading card game release, and I was seeing what the situation was with it.
Do you remember what places you visited?
Yeah, Coliseum of Comics. Stopped by a couple Targets, and I was going to go to House Rules Games down by Oak and 192. But I didn't make it that far. I got a flat tire on the way.
Do you remember where you got your flat tire?
It was on 192. I pulled into one of those plazas somewhere. It's been about 10 years since I switched out a tire, though, so I made a lot of rookie mistakes and ended up pinning my thumb between the frame and the jack. Yeah, I'm lucky it's not a lot worse than it could have been.
Do you remember the name of the plaza by any chance? Do you remember what stores were in this plaza?
It was right before you got to Oak, though, so it was one of those little strips.
Okay.
I don't know, you've probably been asked already, but she's never ran away or been away for longer than...
Okay, so he said she was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there. I just want to point that out because to me that part is so poignant, because she was seen in his car slumped over with her eyes closed, but with her mouth open. He had that lie ready to go in case someone saw her in the car after he had unalived her. And yeah, he said she was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there. Because that's the way he explains away her sleeping. I don't know where he was going to go from there, but, and the information he gives the police, and again, I don't play the whole interview, but I do have the interview posted on my channel, and it's posted in other places on YouTube. Gray Hughes, Court TV, all of them have it. But the details he gives, he's so detailed, and the details he gives are so unnecessary. He's doing that because he thinks that he's smarter than the police, and he feels they'll think, oh, he has all these details, he must be innocent. You know, because a lot of people, when they commit a crime, they think more details help them, and it really hurts them. It makes them look more suspicious. To even mention her backpack and saying she was sleeping in the car, because later in the interview, I don't think I have it on this clip, but later in the interview, he talks about her rustling through her backpack.
She said she was going to go wait for her friends. She was going to find them and hang out and wait for her friends. And I asked if that was going to be okay. She said, yeah, it's fine. Kids get dropped off early enough as it is. It's not totally unusual for that to happen. It's just not usually that early that I drop her off. I do school runs every once in a while for her. I said, okay. Let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too. And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where she's supposed to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack or something. What I assumed was probably headphones or something like that, but I found out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her phone.
And, you know, to even mention her backpack and saying she was sleeping in the car, it sickens me, because he's trying to cover his behind, again, in case her deceased body was seen in her car, and the backpack, he dumped it. And when he's standing there talking to the police, he knew he dumped it. He's just sitting there, I'm so much smarter than these cops, you know. But he dumped it in the dumpster at the apartment complex at 7:35 a.m. That's when he was spotted placing items in the dumpster, along with her school laptop. And the poor me, feel sad for me voice. He's a narcissist. This is very narcissistic behavior. And it's so disturbing to me that he can talk to police so calmly, no conscience whatsoever. He's a monster. He makes himself a victim. He tries to make himself, yeah, the kid is missing, but look at me, I'm sadsies, you know. And you know, he's looking at himself as a victim. I took Ativan because I couldn't sleep and I couldn't get any rest, and you know, my life, me, you know. And it was, or it seemed to me, it was very important that he squeezed in that I love you, and made sure to say that she said I love you. He's such a disgusting pig. See, it's like he wanted to hear those words come out of his mouth one last time, you know, because if she, in the event she ever said that to him, which I just can't imagine she did, but, you know, a 13-year-old girl, I mean, he probably groomed the heck out of her. You know, she could have thought she loved him, you know. These things, these males, they're everywhere. They're worse than cockroaches. You get one, and there's 100, 1,000 more hiding in the shadows, you know. And that they feel like they have the right to touch someone's child. It's disgusting. And I'm not letting women off the hook. There are women out there that do these things too. Not letting them off the hook, but most commonly it's men that do these things. You know, as soon as we catch wind that one of these guys is around, we should be able to put them down. And we're not. And that kind of seems unfair. But also in the nearly 900-page document, Some teachers and counselors were interviewed, and students, friends of Madeline. The PE teacher said she always appeared anxious, and anytime she needed to ask or wanted something, she brought a buddy with her. I don't know that that's really that unusual, though. Another teacher said Madeline had sleepy days where she'd put her head down and did nothing, and that she seemed fatigued. That might be concerning, like overly tired frequently. That could be an issue. A 13-year-old classmate said Madeline would come to school crying and complaining about her mother. Other times Madeline would cry and say she just wanted to cry, you know. But I don't think anybody should expect a 13-year-old child to report it. I mean, what do they know? And I remember, and I've mentioned this in a video before, I remember being that age and seeing and hearing things that really meant nothing to me then, but looking back and repeating it in my head now, I mean, there were things that I said, saw, and heard, or not that I said, but things that I heard and saw that probably should have been looked into. But I was a little, I was young. I didn't know. And I feel like other people feel like that too, So now let's talk about Jen. She signed a sworn written statement where it reads, she stated 2/26/24, approximately 800 hours, she saw Madeline getting ready for school. She saw Madeline getting ready for school. Later, when speaking to investigators, she said she was awoken about 8 a.m. by Stearns looking for the dog leash, and she heard someone in the kitchen, but she didn't actually fully wake up and get out of bed until 9 a.m. But again, earlier, she told the police she saw Madeline getting ready for school, and then she changed her story. And I don't know how she explained that away, whether she said she misspoke or whatever, but she never saw Madeline getting ready for school. And according to Stearns, they were gone before 8 o'clock anyway, if Madeline was alive, but we know now she wasn't, more than likely not alive. And Stearns was spotted with a seemingly deceased Madeline before 8 a.m. And there's video evidence showing Stearns discarding something in a dumpster at the apartment complex at 7:35 a.m. Monday, February 26th. And that was her backpack and laptop. At 8:19, Stearns returns to the complex with Madeline, again believed to be deceased, at 8:19 a.m. I already said that, but Madeline's body was in the car. Now, I want to look at this. It's heavily redacted. It's the notes that, no one reported Madeline's behaviors to the Department of Children and Families. And then it says, here, teachers are mandated reporters, so they are obligated by law to call in a report to the Department of Children and Families. Said licensed counselor Renee Chirowitz, it is not up to the school system to determine there is a possibility that this is true or not true. That's the burden of DCF and law enforcement. She says kids like Madeline often slip through the cracks if they don't tell anyone specifically what they're experiencing at home, but she says that burden should never fall on the child. If she did not disclose what was happening at home, there is a fear of retribution, she said. There's a fear that she's going to be further punished. There are so many fears that the adult in this case, I'm not going to call him the stepfather, the boyfriend, mom's boyfriend in this case, we don't know what he said to keep her quiet. And we don't. We have no idea what he said. And we may never know, because he's being as quiet as a church mouse. Detectives say they found images and videos in Stearns' phone showing him R-word and Madeline in ways that are too graphic to report. And again, that report is on the clerk of court's website, which I showed you in an earlier video how to get to. Authorities believe the ABUSC may have started when Madeline was just 8 years old. They have footage of him messing with her from 5 years prior, and she would have been 8 at the time. If there is any suspicion, report it. Rather save a life that I wish I would have or could have done something to help. The call is one step to ensuring a child's safety and ultimately their life. Yeah, I mean, I get it. So let me go over here. I wanted to read something from this article. Right here, Stearns, the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, was charged with her unaliven on April 24th. And I'm sorry I have to say unaliven. YouTube doesn't like the M word. I'm not trying to minimize what happened to her. Nearly 2 months after she was first reported missing, he currently remains in custody. In an update from the state attorney's office this week, prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in this case should he be convicted. The new documents obtained reveal how close Madeline and Stearns were and other potentially disturbing details about their relationship. On the day after the teenager was reported missing, detectives met with Stearns and conducted an extensive interview with him to determine the timeline of events from the day prior, and Stearns alleges that he dropped Madeline off at a church near Hunters Creek Middle School in Orange County on the morning of February 26th. We know that wasn't true. Now, there was a girl spotted on the grainy surveillance from the church, and the first person to mention that, well, Jen Soto mentioned that in an interview. She said her sister was there and a police officer told her that a girl was spotted on the church surveillance footage, but it was too grainy to tell if it was Madeline or not. But of course, we now know it wasn't Madeline. And the key, okay, Madeline Soto case, new docs reveal key items collected as evidence. And let me, so numerous items were collected from a car and a residence. On February 28th, 2 days after Madeline was reported missing, investigators impounded evidence from what is believed to be a Lincoln vehicle due to multiple Lincoln emblems reportedly found in the vehicle. And he drove a 2010 Lincoln MKZ. Deputies uncovered items such as latex gloves, cloth gloves, a knife, a towel, a rag, and a blanket, according to documents. Other items such as a white rope, a trash bag, and a white towel were found in the vehicle's trunk, the documents reveal. And we know that he took her and put her in the trunk, that he went to the top of the Holiday Inn Vacation Club resort, to the top floor of their parking garage, got out of the driver's side, opened the trunk, went over to the passenger side, took something that appeared to be a body out of the passenger side and put inside the trunk. On the same day, Orange County detectives collected evidence, including a bottle of cream that men use for personal activities, boxers from laundry, a pink strawberry Snuggie, a purple comforter, underwear, and a phone tripod from a residence, the document showed. And that's all they list here. But yeah, there are, you know, a lot of documents. There's over 900 of them, and they got a lot of evidence on him. They have a lot more evidence against Stearns than they had against Casey Anthony. So I don't think that this is going to be another Casey Anthony type situation. You know, Casey Anthony, you know, the evidence against her was minimal and it was circumstantial and it wasn't very good, and she got off. She walked. And we all know what we know, but again, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in a court of law, and they didn't prove it for Kaylee Anthony's unaliven, unfortunately. And I'm actually working on a video of that case right now, so hopefully I'll be able to get that up soon, but there is a lot to go through. But I think that's, oh, I wanted to say here, there was, oh, I already mentioned 13-year-old classmate. But yeah, so I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Of course, we'll be discussing this, excuse me, more and more. And we'll be keeping an eye out for the trial. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.